You're early. Now go.
Sorry. Welcome to the first show of a new stream we're doing called Let's Talk Alliance.
Yep.
It's for the Alliance of American Football kicking off
tonight.
We got the scoreboard.
Yep.
Over Chris's
left shoulder.
Left shoulder.
Yeah.
So,
welcome to the AAF.
Yes. I am Apple Dash. This is
Spikey Dash.
Spikey Dash. He kindly sort of lent me his channel for this.
Although you make enough co-host appearances on the other streams, you pretty much become a primary at this point.
Well, yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, I know you.
I was for.
I know you have
Stock
your.
Report.
Yeah, you were, and I know you have your own channel. We haven't really explored that much yet.
I really haven't done anything.
No. So, but I gladly let you join in on streams. Yeah, this was really our idea. And I posted to Twitter earlier today as well. When we heard about the AAF, we were both on board right away from the get-go. We were excited for a new league during the NFL offseason. You know, we just had the Super Bowl shit part 2. But now, hopefully, with the fresh start from now until April, brand new, eight teams, 10-week season. So from now till April, we're going to have this. I printed off this article here. Basically, we're going to talk about in kind of the lead up. The kickoff tonight is at 8 o'clock. So for these next couple hours, or at least try to fill these next couple hours, we're going to at least dive into the rules of the new league, the actual teams themselves, where they're at, nicknames, that kind of thing. The rosters, who's on these teams. You'll probably know a lot of these names if you know football really well. You'll know some of the guys, and you'll know a lot of the coaches on these teams as well. So we're going to mainly hit those 4 areas. Before I dive into the article, just kind of like, what are we expecting from this league? Like, what are we really hoping to take away?
Well, it looks fun. It looks fresh. We'll get into it later, but there's a lot of rule changes that will differentiate
from the NFL.
And I'm looking forward to that. With any new league or with any new thing, you always worry, how's the fan base going to be? Sure. But I'm hoping that a lot of people get on board with it because I'm excited to see this. I mean, for the longest time, there hasn't really been much to, either compete with the NFL or an alternative to the NFL.
The last really good one was probably NFL Europe, probably.
Yeah.
But that was a developmental. And I think the AAF is trying to become maybe a developmental league because I read an article on ESPN I kept reading, I was telling Nate off air, second chance. It's a second chance for these players to maybe impress the NFL and get their shot.
And it's just like, it brings to mind Doug Flutie in the CFL.
Sure.
He was not drafted.
Nope.
Went to the CFL, killed it.
Yeah.
And then he eventually made an NFL team, an NFL roster.
Or how about one of the best stories I could think of from arena football? How about Kurt Warner? Yeah. The Iowa Barnstormers.
Played in arena football, was bagging groceries at the Quickie Mart.
Yep.
And then gets a call from his agent. Like, hey, come try out. And a few years later, Super Bowl MVP.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. No. So, so there's certainly the possibility. So basically, I found this article on Fantasy Life, from ESPN. And it says here, I like to call the Sunday after Super Bowl Depression Sunday. The season's over, and we're settling in for a long winter, spring, most of summer nap from the game we all know and love. In fact, in a league where I play on Monday, our league manager posted a countdown to kickoff that was 242 days. Feels like a lifetime, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But if that's how you feel, you're not alone. That's why the Alliance exists, at least partly. They know the pain of the offseason. They know that in the dark of June and July Fridays, you're watching the CFL to feel alive. And they want to solve that pain or at least provide a distraction. So the first season of the league kicks off tonight, and it runs till the championship game on Saturday, April 27th, which actually is the final day of the NFL draft.
Nice.
So on Saturdays and Sundays from now until April, you can watch football on CBS, the NFL Network, and on streaming. And also, there'll be some games also airing on the CBS Sports Network and also on TNT as well. But what exactly can we expect? Well, I wager to say no one knows for sure, but I'm going to try and get you pumped or what we might see anyway. So this new league, this new league was born of a documentary about the XFL, which ironically is returning itself in 2020. Mm-hmm. So if this survives to a second season, it'll be directly competing with the XFL. The league was founded by Charlie Ebersol, who's son of legendary Dick Ebersol, and is led by a group that includes former NFL executives like Bill Polian and players like Troy Polamalu, Hines Ward, Jared Allen, and Justin Tuck. So a lot of notable names on that list.
Yeah.
It also has the involvement of former NFL officials like Mike Pereira and Dean Blandino. And they're aiming to deliver an interesting and engaging product. So then here are the 8 teams in the middle of it. You've got the Arizona Hotshots, the Atlanta Legends, the Birmingham Iron, the Memphis Express, the Orlando Apollos, the Salt Lake Stallions, and then the 2 teams we're going to see tonight on our CBS station, the San Antonio Commanders and the San Diego Fleet. You know, the logo designs, I mean, they're pretty basic.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing like too flashy about them. I like some of the font designs. I like the Legends font. Mm-hmm. You know, the Stallions with the S and the horse. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
The Fleet with the ship. I think that's cool.
Yeah. Paying homage to
the Navy. Absolutely. That's there in California. Absolutely. So I dig that. I like some of the names. They're pretty, again, basic, but I like it. I like the looks. Still, the league's official site's a little short on in-depth details, but their 8 teams' inaugural season playing 10 weeks before 4 of them made the playoffs on Easter weekends. Only 4 will go to the playoffs out of the 8. Early articles outline some of the league setup and rules. So here's what we can expect: 52 players on each roster. So, and that's almost close to the NFL, which has 53. So that's pretty similar. Telecast will feature no TV timeouts and 60% fewer full-screen commercials, the league aiming for an approximate real-time game length of 150 minutes. So 2 hours and 30 minutes. So that is a lot less than the NFL provides us. This one is intriguing to me. All teams must attempt 2-point conversion for each touchdown. No extra points.
And that will make the game more entertaining.
Yes, it will. Yeah, because a 2-point conversion obviously is a lot harder to convert than an extra point. So, yeah, that will be very interesting.
You're either going to have high-scoring games or very low-scoring games.
Exactly. In fact, really, there's going to be really no kicking at all because there'll be no extra points. There'll be no kickoffs. There are no kickoffs in this league. And really, the first XFL did the same thing. But, yeah, no kickoffs, halves, odd overtime periods, and after scores will begin on each team's own 25-yard line. Basically, like equivalent to a touchback in the NFL. So
will there be field goals at all?
No, because remember, it said – I think it said somewhere that there are no field goals either. I read somewhere there's no field goals either. No. So the play clock will run only 35 seconds, which is 5 seconds shorter than the NFL. So
that'll shorten the game.
Yep, quicker play clock. The only replays are 2 coaches' challenges per team. That's the only replays. And outside organizations will handle head safety protocols. In the event of a tie at the end of regulation, a single overtime period will be played. It's just 1 overtime. That's it. Each team will begin their opponent's 10-yard line and be given 4 downs to score. If the score remains tied after each team's given their possession, the game ends in a tie. So there also can be ties in this league as well.
Yeah.
Also like the NFL. Mm-hmm. So aside from that, the game in theory will be similar to the product we've used to see in the NFL. But what kind of play will we see? Well, let's look at the teams themselves. And I'm also going to see on this if I can maybe pull up the rosters by doing a little bit of searching here. Because I think in this article, they're only going to give like a few notable names. I don't know if there'll be any others on this list, but I'll try to pull that up here as we go along. So we have 8 teams broken into 2 conferences. The Western Conference has the Arizona Hotshots, Salt Lake Stallions, San Antonio Commanders, and the San Diego Fleet. So, again, 2 of those we will see tonight. And the Eastern Conference has the other 4, the Atlanta Legends, the Birmingham Iron, the Memphis Express, and the Orlando Apollos. The top 2 from each conference make the playoffs. Okay. So top 2 from each. So here's all the information on each team. Find full rosters at AAF.com. Okay, so and we'll just do these by looking up each team. So let's start with the Western Conference. Let's start with the Arizona Hotshots. They're playing their games actually at Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe at Arizona State. Oh, that's cool. I like Arizona State. Their head coach is Rick Neuheisel. I'm sure you know that name.
I've heard it.
He also played in another professional football league. He played in the USFL, actually, the United States Football League, the old USFL, before a few years in the NFL. Probably best known as the head coach for Colorado, Washington, and UCLA. But he also served as quarterback coach and then offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens. Their colors are green, orange, and yellow. I like the helmet design. Check that out.
Nice.
That's a real nice helmet. Yeah. It's very good. You can kind of see it there. So very, very nice. Let's see. Players. Here we go. The Hotshots assigned area which designates player rights includes the following. Arizona, Arizona State, Illinois, Nevada, New Mexico State, Northern Arizona, Northwestern. Oh, so it does include the Wildcats. Interesting. Oregon State, Texas Tech, UCLA, UTEP, Wake Forest, and Washington State. And then from the NFL, they can get players from the Arizona Cardinals, Baltimore Ravens, Chicago Bears, or 49ers. And then their CFL partner is the Edmonton Eskimos. Let's see. So, let's see. Notable players on here that I know. Quarterbacks, Trevor Knight. I recognize his name. Running backs, I don't recognize any of those guys. Oh, Josh Huff. Okay. Josh Huff, the former Oregon Duck, was a brief Philadelphia Eagle from 2014 to 2016. Finished the 2016 season with the Buccaneers. Let's see if I don't really. Oh, Gerald Christian, one of their tight ends. I recognize his name. Thomas Duarte. Yeah. Let's see. Tackles. Andrew Lauderdale. I recognize his name. Will Sutton. He's a former Northwestern Wildcat. Yep. I remember him. And linebackers. So Steve Beauharnais. I think I recognize his name. Scooby Wright. Yep, I remember him. Defensive backs, Randall Goforth. Dexter McDougal. There's a big name.
Okay.
I remember him. Raheem Moore, Sterling Moore. So the Moore brothers are on here. Well, actually, there are special teamers. There are punters and kickers, actually. What are they supposed to do? There are punters and kickers on this roster. What are they supposed to do if there's no extra points and no field goals?
Maybe that's just an overtime. There's no field goals. Probably.
Their punter's Jeff Locke. I know him. Their kicker's Nick Folk. You know Nick Folk.
Yep.
So there's a few notable players there.
Yeah.
Let's look now at the Salt Lake Stallions. I like them because their name's the closest to ponies. Of course, they're based in Salt Lake City. They're coached by Dennis Erickson. I'm sure you know who Dennis Erickson is. Best known for his work in the college ranks, but a head coach at Idaho, Wyoming, most famously the University of Miami, Oregon State, and Arizona State. He was also an NFL head coach twice, first with the Seahawks from 95 to 98, and then with the 49ers from 2003 to 2004.
And who was that?
Dennis Erickson.
Okay.
So they got the wing design on their helmet. It's gray with the wings.
Nice.
That's cool. Colors are blue, deep sky blue, and silver. They will play at Rice-Eccles Stadium. I don't know who plays there. Oh, it's the home of Utah. Okay, so they're playing at Utah Stadium. Okay, that's cool. They get players from Air Force, Arkansas, Boise State, BYU, California, Colorado State, Dixie State, Idaho, Idaho State, Northern Colorado, Oklahoma State, Oregon, Southern Utah State, Weber State, and Wyoming. From the NFL, Denver Broncos, Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings, Seattle Seahawks. Some good teams in there. And their CFL affiliate is Calgary.
Okay.
Formerly Jameer Thurman's team, but he's now with the Bears. So, Let's see. Yeah, he actually got an NFL deal. Yeah, he signed with Chicago. Yeah. Quarterbacks, you got Austin Allen, Matt Linehan, Josh Woodrum. I don't know any of those guys. Now, the running backs, Matt Asiata, I'm sure you know. He ran for the Vikings for 5 seasons, including posting 570 yards and 9 touchdowns in 2014 and racking up 6 touchdowns in 2016, his last with the team. Brandon Oliver from the Chargers. Played 3 years, including rushing for 582 yards and 3 touchdowns as a rookie in 2014. Wide receivers, Kenny Bell, I vaguely remember him. Adonis Jennings, Jordan Leslie. Tight end, Austin Traylor. He was a strong contributor for the Broncos and can't the past 2 years. Didn't make the cut last year, though, but did play in 2017. Had 8 receptions for 100 yards in 7 games with 3 starts. Let's see. Defensive linemen, Darius Hamilton, Chris Odom, Mike Purcell. I know a couple of those names. Linebackers like Trevor Riley. Defensive backs, Will Davis, C.J. Smith. Don't really know their special teams guys. So there's a couple good guys on that roster. That could be really a team to watch. All right, let's look at the 2 teams now we're going to see tonight. First off, the San Antonio Commanders. They will play at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, also home to the, I believe, the UTSA Roadrunners. They got the red helmet there with the logo in the middle there. So the colors are maroon, red, silver, and white. Their head coach is Mike Riley. It says here in the article, I'm guessing that Nebraska fans will want to watch Riley as he was famously once their head coach. He also served as head coach at Oregon State and in the NFL for the San Diego Chargers from 1999 to 2001. Their assigned area includes the following colleges: Abilene Christian, Angelo State, Basecombe, Houston Baptist, Incarnate Word, Lamar, Midwestern State, North Texas, Oklahoma, Prairie View, Rice, Sam Houston, SMU, Stephen F. Austin, Tarleton State, TCU, there you go, Texas A&M, Kingsville, Texas Permian Basin, Texas Southern, Texas State, UTSA, West Texas A&M. So basically, if you're any college in Texas, you're probably going to end up on San Antonio.
Yeah.
Their NFL teams we're affiliated with are the Cowboys, the Texans, the Chiefs, and the Eagles. And their CFL is the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Quarterbacks, Marquise Williams, I vaguely remember him. Oh, Logan Woodside, okay. He was drafted by the Patriots in the 7th round in 2018, then traded to the Bengals. Didn't make the roster, was on the Titans practice squad for a bit. Running backs, David Cobb. He was a 5th-round pick for the Titans in 2015, rushing for 146 yards and a touchdown his lone season with the team. Kenneth Farrow was with the Chargers briefly in 2016, rushing for 192 yards in 13 games, starting 2. Aaron Green, former Packer.
Yeah.
And Trey Williams. So good group of running backs there. Wide receivers, let's see. I know John D'Arcy. I know Greg Ward. So a couple notable names there. Tight ends, Cameron Clear, Cole Hunt. I know them vaguely. Offensive line, Cyril Richardson. I know him, one of the guards. Defensive lineman, Winston Craig. Yep. Let's see, corner or linebackers, Jaren Elliott. Danny Ezekuku. I think that's how you pronounce that. Tyrone Holmes, Joel Lanning. I know him. Austin Larkin, I think he was TCU, I think. Darnell Leslie, yep. Defensive backs, Curtis Drummond, Nick Orr, Zach Sanchez, Duron Smith. Then there are kickers, Nick Rose, or punters, Joseph Zima. So there's a couple notable names on these, but not as notable as so far. Salt Lake's got the best roster I've seen. They're pretty loaded.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put an asterisk next to them because they're gonna be a team I think I'm gonna talk about a lot of. All right, now let's look at the opponent for San Antonio tonight, the San Diego Fleet. They will play at San Diego County Credit Union Stadium, where San Diego State plays their games. They are coached by Mike Martz. Of course, you know Mike Martz, orchestrator of the Gray Show on Turf when he was in St. Louis. Yep, he was offensive coordinator, later head coach for the St. Louis Rams. He later served as head coach for the Detroit Lions, then offensive coordinator in San Francisco for the 49ers and Chicago for the Bears. And again, they have the logo on the Navy helmet there. So their colors are, Battleship Gray, and yellow. Why would you list gray twice? There's Battleship Gray and they have regular gray.
It's a different color.
Okay.
Battleship Gray and gray are not the same color.
Okay, one's darker than the other. Got it. Okay. Let's see. Their assigned area includes Arkansas, Azusa Pacific, Cal Poly, Fresno State, Hawaii, Humboldt State, Sacramento State, San Diego State, San Jose State, Stanford, UC Davis, UNLV, USC, Washington. So a big Pac-12 area mostly. Their NFL affiliates are Detroit, the LA Chargers, the LA Rams, and Oakland. Big shocker there. Except for Detroit, those are all local.
Where is it?
This is San Diego Fleet. And then their CFL affiliate is the BC Lions. Quarterbacks, Mike Bercovici, I vaguely remember him.
Yeah.
Philip Nelson and Alex Ross. Running backs, Jaquan Gardner, Paul James. Terrell Watson, he's listed here. He had a cup of coffee in the NFL with two teams, the Eagles in 2016 and Steelers in 2017. Has just 36 yards rushing in his career. So he'll definitely be hoping for that second chance. Let's see. Wide receivers. Don't really know any of these guys except for Nelson Spruce and Francis Owusu. Those are the only two names I recognize. Tight end Gavin Escobar. I know him. Played 5 pro seasons, 4 with the Cowboys in 2017 with the Ravens. Has 30 career catches for 333 yards and 8 touchdowns, all from his time in Dallas. Offensive line. Daniel Brunskill, Brett Boyko. Defensive line, Alex Barrett, Demontre Moore, Jalen Robinson. He's TCU, I believe. Let's see. And then linebackers, Travis Feeney, Frank Ginda, John Lutulele. Corners, Kendall James. I recognize him. Curtis Michael. Justin Williams, Demetrius Wright. Wow, that's a big name. I know Demetrius Wright.
Yeah.
And then really don't know their special teams guys. Now, Bishop Sankey is on the exempt list. I remember him, the running back. So couple decent names on there. I'd probably give the edge, though, to San Antonio if I were to pick tonight. If I had to pick of who I think is going to win, I think San Antonio's got more experience on the roster.
San Antonio Fleet?
San Antonio is the Commanders.
Yes.
San Antonio is the Commanders. San Diego's the Fleet.
Okay.
Yeah, I would probably lean San Antonio just based on that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now we'll look here at the East. Now, there's one other game going on tonight. We're going to be getting San Diego and San Antonio. The other game, I want to say, is Atlanta and Orlando, I want to say.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay. I just want to make sure I said it right. I'm on the AS website now, making sure I have the right schedule. Yeah, Atlanta and Orlando is the other one tonight, and then the 2 tomorrow are Memphis at Birmingham and Salt Lakes at Arizona. So those will be so it's both Saturday and Sunday. But this is the main kickoff night. So you got the Atlanta Legends in the East. They'll be playing at Georgia State. They'll be coached by Kevin Coyle, one of 2 coaches who have never been a head coach. So he's kind of the little-known guy. So he has no prior head coaching experience. He serves as a defensive coach in the college ranks for Holy Cross, Syracuse, Maryland, and Fresno State. and works as a defensive coach in the NFL for the Bengals and the Dolphins. So, yeah, no head coaching experience. There's your Legends helmet there, the purple with the crown. I like that. Yeah, that's cool. So purple, gold, and white are their colors. So their area includes Albany State, Clark Atlanta, Clemson, that's huge, Fort Valley State, Georgia, Georgia Southern, Georgia State, Georgia Tech, Kennesaw State, Louisville, Mercer, Morehouse, North Carolina, nice, Savannah State, Shorter, Valdosta State, Virginia, Virginia Tech, and West Georgia. They've got some good teams in that base.
Where does the Legends at?
Atlanta. Their NFL affiliates obviously are the Falcons. Duh. Carolina, Jacksonville, and Washington. And their CFL affiliate is the Toronto Argonauts. So their quarterbacks, Aaron Murray, most famous for his work at Georgia. He's a fifth-round pick for the Chiefs 2014 but never played. And Matt Sims. You know the Sims name, of course. Brother of Chris and son of Phil. Played for the Jets in 2013 and 2014. Threw for 195 yards, a touchdown, and an interception in 4 games played. Running backs. Terry Folston, Denard Robinson. I'm sure you remember Denard Robinson. Michigan.
Oh, yeah.
He was a star at Michigan. Moments of brilliance during 4 years in Jacksonville. Rushed for 1,058 yards and 5 touchdowns in his pro career. He will be fun to watch. And Akrum Wadley also. So they have a good trio of running backs. Wide receivers, Monte Crockett, Austin Duke. Oh, Bug Howard's on the roster. Dude, North Carolina represent. He was fun to watch. Malachi Jones, Santavius Jones, and Justin Thomas. So nice. These are good wide receivers there. Tight ends, Keith Tobridge, don't recognize there. Offensive lineman, Chase Ferris. I know him vaguely. D-line, Tavares Barnes, David Dean. Linebackers, Khalil Bass, Dylan Donahue, Jeff Luke, Brandon Watts. Defensive backs, Doran Grant, Dwayne Hollis. That's a nice big name. Ed Reynolds, Damian Swan. Oh, their kicker's Young Ho Koo, formerly kicker of the Chargers. I think Atlanta could be scary too. That's a pretty loaded roster too. Put a mark next to them too. I think that's a pretty good group of talent. All right, Birmingham. Look at the Birmingham Iron. They will play at Legion Field, currently at UAB, until a new stadium at the Birmingham Jefferson Convention Complex has completed construction. So they're getting even a new stadium. How cool is that? The sale will be completed in 2021. So they're just plain black helmet.
Okay.
So black, silver, and white are their colors. Their head coach is Tim Lewis. Lewis also doesn't boast any previous head coaching experience, but he played in the league with the Green Bay Packers. He also has a litany of experience as a position coach on defense in the NFL with the Pittsburgh Steelers, New York Giants, Carolina Panthers, Seattle Seahawks, Atlanta Falcons, and 49ers. Let's see. This area includes the following colleges: Alabama, Alabama A&M, Alabama State, Auburn, Indiana University of Pennsylvania, Jacksonville State, Louisiana Tech, Maryland, Miles College, Mississippi State, NC State, North Alabama, Missouri, Samford, South Alabama, South Carolina, Troy, Tuskegee, UAB, and West Alabama. Their NFL affiliates are the Patriots, the Bills, the Browns, and the Steelers. Their CFL affiliate is the Montreal Alouettes. And they have 2 affiliates. They got Montreal and Ottawa. Interesting. So quarterbacks, Luis Perez, Keith Price, and Blake Sims. Blake Sims is the only name that comes to my mind. Running backs, Ty Isaac, Ladarius Perkins. There's Trent Richardson. We know Trent Richardson. Good old T-Rich is back. He played for the Browns, Colts, and the Raiders. As a rookie in Cleveland, he ran for 950 yards and 11 touchdowns. It was all downhill and mostly into linemen from there. That's what it says. I'm not just joking. That's what it says.
Yeah.
Wide receivers, Quan Bray, former Colt. Most of the time, he's a return specialist during his 3 seasons there. Amir Carlisle, Amba Edatawo. Not sure who that is. DeBose Felton, Tobias Palmer, Quentin Patton. Yep, Patton played in parts of 4 NFL seasons, catching 30 or more passes in 2015 and 16 for the San Francisco 49ers. And LaDainian Washington. Tight ends, I really don't recognize any of those names. Offensive lineman, Brandon Green. Kid O'Brien. Kid O'Brien is a name we should know. He was also on the Colts practice squad and graduated from Lewis Cass High School from Walton. So good for him. Defensive line, Ricky Hatley, Nick James, Lawrence Okoye, and Devin Taylor. Linebackers, Benikus Brown, Xavier Dixon, Jonathan Massaquoi, and Matt Wells. Defensive backs, Chris Davis. I remember him from Auburn. Yep. He returned the kick 6 for the touchdown that beat Alabama in the Iron Bowl.
Okay.
And Trevon Reed. That's all I recognize. And their punters, Colton Schmidt. Their kickers, Nick Novak, former Charger. So decent potential here at this roster. I'm going to put a star next to them, too.
Famous Pikes Place Market, and all of this snow here is a very unusual sight.
All right, then we have the Memphis Express.
In just one day. As the winter storm came ashore, the snow snarled traffic and caused some accidents. Governor Jay Inslee was quick to declare a state of emergency on Friday. Schools closed.
They're playing at the Liberty Bowl where Memphis plays their home games. And they'll be coached by Mike Singletary, as I'm sure you know. Of course, he's a Hall of Fame linebacker, but is also known for coaching in the NFL. Serves a defensive coach for many teams, including the Ravens, 49ers, Vikings, and Rams. Also memorably served as head coach in San Francisco. I'll never forget his press conference. Remember when Vernon, I think it was Vernon Davis, when he was having his fit, and he said, "Right now, this player is not taught out to be a member of this team. Can I win with him? Can I play with him? Can I coach with him? Can't do it. I want winners." I'll never forget that press conference. I like their helmet. Check that out.
Nice.
That's a sweet helmet. I like that. The red with the fly there. I like that. So red, blue, and white are their colors. Their area includes the following colleges: Arkansas, Austin Peay, Carson Newman, Chattanooga, East Tennessee State, Kentucky, Lane College, LSU, Memphis, Middle Tennessee, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Tennessee State, Tennessee Tech, Tusculum, UT Martin, and Vanderbilt. Their NFL teams are the Bengals, the Colts, so the Colts are affiliated with them, the Saints, and the Titans. And their CFL is the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So then the quarterbacks, the two you know right away, Zach Mettenberger, former Titans prospect, started 10 games over 2 seasons in 2014 and 15, threw for 2,347 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 14 picks. And Christian Hackenberg, former Penn State standout who washed out with the Jets, gets another chance. And it's possible he's a starter now in Memphis. Well, most of these teams don't have one guy remember from the NFL. The Express have 2. So that's huge. Running backs, Terrence McGee. McGee played for 3 teams in 3 years, totaling 17 yards in 7 games. And then you also got Zach Stacy. Most memorable from his stint with the Rams. 2013, he had 973 yards and 7 touchdowns. Tailed off the next year, ran for less than 100 yards in 2015 with the Jets. Wide receivers, really the only one I know there is either Devin Lucien or Demore Stringfellow. Tight ends, Adrian Robinson's the only one I know there. Offensive linemen, Anthony Morris, Robert Myers, Demetrius Rainey, Dallas Thomas, and Toby Weathersby. D-line, Montori Hughes, I know him. Anthony Johnson, Sam Montgomery, Julius Wormsley. Linebackers, Quentin Gauze, Davis Toll. D-backs, Malik Boynton, Charles James, Channing Stribling. And their punters, Brad Wayne, one of the best punters ever, formerly of LSU. And then the kickers, Josh Jasper. So it's a pretty solid roster too. Man, I think the Eastern Conference is going to be loaded. Eastern Conference is going to be hard to pick. And then finally, you've got the Orlando Apollos. They will play at Spectrum Stadium, where UCF plays their home games. And they'll be coached by Steve Spurrier, probably the most notable name in the coaching ranks. Best member is the head man for the Florida Gators and later the South Carolina Gamecocks. In between, he also coached Washington in the NFL. There's their helmet with the black and the orange. The Apollo there in the middle. So navy blue, dark orange, and bright orange are their colors. Oh, this even comes with a little. Okay, this is the only team I've seen that had a little more on their Wikipedia page. The team's name is inspired by the Greek god Apollo and his and Florida's connections to the sun. The team's colors, orange and navy, are tributes to Florida's sunshine and the Apollo program, respectively. The helmet depicts Apollo shooting a bow and arrow as he's commonly pictured as an archer. Okay, that's cool. It's got a little bit of history there, too. Their assigned area includes Bethune-Cookman, Florida, Florida A&M, Florida Atlantic, Florida International, Florida State, Florida Tech, Jacksonville, Miami, Stetson, South Florida, UCF, West Florida. So again, if you're in Florida, you're ending up on the Apollos. Their NFL teams are Miami, naturally, the Giants, the Jets, and Tampa Bay. And their CFL is the Hamilton Tiger Cats. So their quarterbacks are Kevin Anderson, Austin Appleby, and Garrett Gilbert. I remember Garrett Gilbert. Drafted in 2014 by the Rams, most recently played for the Panthers in 2018. Even got into a game going 2 for 3 for 40 yards. Running backs. Oh, Akeem Hunt, former Boilermaker. Played in 2015 and 2016 with the Texans, but he probably must be being the other Hunt at running back in Kansas City in 2017. Rushed for 228 yards on 45 carries in 3 seasons. They also have Devion Smith. Wide receivers, Dante Dye, Rennell Hall, Frankie Hammond, Charles Johnson played 3 years for the Vikings from 2014 to 2016. Jalen Marshall played for the Jets in 2016, made a mini splash with 14 receptions, 162 yards, and 2 touchdowns in 10 games. And Chris Thompson, Florida product, played with the Texans in 2017, catching 5 passes for 84 yards in 13 games. Tight ends, Scott Orndorff, it's the one I recognize. Linemen, Trey Jackson, Marquise Lucas, Chris Martin, Ronald Patrick, Andrew Tiller. D-line, Ryan Davis and Leon Orr, a couple I recognize. Linebackers, Terrence Garvin, Earl O'Kine, Azim Victor. D-backs, Jerome Coupland, Josh Evans, Darius Gunter, Will Hill, big name at safety. Keith Reeser, Cody Riggs.
And you'll also get this free beneficiary planner.
So that's it. So a couple big names there for that roster. So based off of that,
let's see. Aleve is proven better on pain than Tylenol.
I mean, from the West,
and lasts longer with fewer pills.
If I had to pick like the two I like the most right now, just based on that, I'm going to probably say Salt Lake and probably San Antonio. Like I said, I think San Diego, just based on talent, is going to beat San Diego tonight. But, so I'll go Salt Lake and San Antonio. The East is going to be a lot harder to predict because there's 3 teams with really solid rosters. But if I had to pick, I would say Atlanta and Memphis. So those are the 4 I'm gonna lean toward is making the playoffs. Atlanta, Memphis, Salt Lake.
Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition or high blood pressure before taking it.
Salt Lake and San Antonio.
Ask your doctor.
Those are the 4 I'm going with.
If you can't afford your medication,
I think those 4 are going to be the playoff teams. I don't even know who's going to win the whole thing yet. I don't want to dive too much into that right now, but that's how I see that right now. So what to expect? When the AAF was first announced, it was accompanied by talk of an app that would push fantasy, but so far the app has not been released. It also will include enhanced sports betting. But for those who are still game, you can play season-long AAF fantasy football on ultfantasysports.com. But you still have to fish around the internet and podcasts trying to get a sense of the depth chart, as even the official team pages can be playing things close to the vest. But if you're looking for a leg up, NoExtraPoints.com is offering box scores, projecting starters, and will offer point projections. There will be some familiar face on the sideline and uniform, and still football, which will largely be enough for most fans who feel a sense of loss after the confetti falls on Super Bowl Sunday. So when the first game kicks off on CBS on Saturday night, I know I'll be there, and I'd wager I won't be alone. You were fall asleep.
Sorry. I didn't sleep too well last night.
No.
No.
So that covers the article. That covers the rules. That covers the players. Like I said, if I had to think, I think the four are going to be the favorite right now. It's going to be Atlanta, Memphis, Salt Lake, and San Antonio.
Yeah.
Those to me are the four that I think are going to be the like just based on who's on the roster. Like, you know, just because really we don't have much to go off of except who's on the roster. So right now until we see the actual product we're going to see tonight. So.
And while he announced that 80 distribution centers.
Yeah, so if I had to pick tonight's games, I think Atlanta's going to beat Orlando, and I think San Antonio is going to beat San Diego. Just based on, again, just based on the rosters alone, which is all we have to go by right now.
Yeah.
I think that's, if I had to make a pick, that's how I see it. That was only 47 minutes.
Wow. Okay.
I told you we wouldn't get to 2 hours.
That's crazy.
I didn't. Yeah,
All right. Well, then it's only 47 minutes this time.
Right.
And only make it maybe like an hour.
That's harder now because of psoriatic arthritis, but you're still moved by illness like this. Don't let psoriatic arthritis keep them away. Tons reduce and help stop the progression of joint damage for people with moderate to severe psoriasis. 90% saw significant improvement. Tons even gives you a chance at completely.
Oh man. So what time is it?
It's 6:48.
All right. I'm gonna go over there and eat.
Okay. All right. So I guess we're gonna start a separate stream for the commentary. Yeah.
We're just gonna watch the King.
Oh. Okay.
Feel the clear of non-drowsy Claritin and relief from symptoms caused by over 200 indoor and outdoor allergens. Like
I'll be back with our game.
All right.
Clearly no substitute for real ones. Feel the clarity and live Claritin Clear.
Want to save money on pet food and supplies? Shop online at Chewy.com.
So,
When I shop at Chewy.com, I know I'm getting an
I thought you were doing
amazing deal on my
commentary.
pet food. I save on my
I guess we're just watching
their
it. So.
treats, their toys. At Chewy.com, you'll always find low prices
that,
on
right?
favorite brands.
Oh,
Plus,
and
you get
this? Oh,
free 1 to 2 day shipping.
Prices are $13 because I have 4 dogs.
All right. Well,
I just found my dog's favorite
I guess then that will do it. I'll at least do for the kickoff to kind of just preview, set things up. So like I said, those to me, if I had to pick, it'd be those four: the Atlanta, Memphis, Salt Lake, and San Antonio. We will see what happens there. I thought we were doing commentary during the game. Apparently, we're just watching it. So that's a bummer. Sorry. I thought we were doing more than that, but oh well. So I guess this is going to do it for this stream. We'll maybe have a recap maybe later of first weekend and later videos as we do more with the Alliance. We'll talk about the games, recap what we saw in the games, kind of give our take on that. I will also say, though, during this, there will be at least the bare minimum 2 streams next week. There will be ATSD episode 28 on Wednesday, the 13th, and then TTM episode 2, Tracking the Madness second projection. I didn't get to it last week because I was crazy busy. That will be on February 12th on Tuesday. So TTM on Tuesday, ATSD episode 28 on Wednesday. A lot to discuss in that video as well. So I guess for now, that is it. And we'll be watching the AAF tonight. And we'll see what happens. So until next stream, it's Beggy Dash for Apple Dash signing off. Good night and God bless.